Heartwarming truth revealed. Millionaire discovers unexpected, life-changing bond in stolen bag. Nathan Montgomery was the epitome of success, wealthy, polished, and seemingly invincible. His sleek briefcase, a symbol of power, nestled comfortably at his side, filled with deals and ambitions. But as he steered his shiny SUV through the affluent streets of Chicago, a hollow ache lingered beneath his confidence. His luxurious home, orchestrated to reflect his achievements, felt more like an empty palace. His wife, Sarah, occupied another room, lost in her own world. His two teenage kids barely knew him anymore, too preoccupied with their own lives. As Nathan rushed through the crowded shopping district, his phone buzzed with an email from a client, one that could seal another big deal. Lost in a frenzy, he felt the world blur around him. Suddenly, a flash of movement surged past him. A kid, no more than 15, snatched his briefcase and dashed. Panic surged. "Hey!" Nathan yelled, desperation in his voice, scattering shoppers around him. His heart raced, not just for the lost bag, but for the identity he'd poured into it. He chased the boy through the packed streets, a surreal mix of anger and urgency. The thief weaved expertly among the pedestrians, his limbs youthful and nimble, while Nathan's suit pressed heavily against him like chains. When the boy finally slipped out of sight, Nathan stopped, leaning against a lamppost, his breath coming in harsh gasps. The briefcase contained more than contracts. It held his identity, his worth. Fueled by frustration, Nathan stumbled into a nearby community center. The vibrant murals on the walls contrasted starkly with the atmosphere of his own life. As he stepped inside, the warmth enveloped him, almost like a hug so foreign yet strangely comforting. There he met Rosa, a single mother with tired eyes but a resilient smile, juggling her work while caring for two small children. Her laughter echoed around the center, a melody amidst the struggles of life. "Need some help?" she asked, noticing his bewildered expression. Nathan shook his head, unsure what he felt: embarrassment, admiration, or a longing for connection. In that moment, he was drawn into their stories, the raw tales of hardship and love shining through the adversity. It pierced his sterile world, igniting emotions he'd buried long ago. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As Nathan's gaze shifted, he met Jim, a volunteer with a weathered face and kind, crinkling eyes. Jim shared stories of service and purpose, fighting for others amidst his own battles. Nathan felt a stirring within him, a whisper that questioned his choices. Was success worth the loneliness? Then came a text from his daughter, Chloe. "Dad, I miss you. Please come home." Each word was a dagger. The reminder of his absence hit hard. What was this wealth, for if it meant losing the people he loved the most? Just then, the reality of the thief's identity crashed over him. Marcus, that young boy, was more than just a thief. He was a product of a cycle Nathan had turned a blind eye to. Torn between anger and empathy, Nathan stood at a precipice, realizing the power of choices. One row of lives, so different yet alike in their search for meaning. Could he bridge this divide and save not just his belongings, but also his family and perhaps a broken boy seeking a second chance? Nathan inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of his life pressing down on him. The laughter of children bubbled around him like a distant echo, reminding him of the joy that once bloomed in his own home. He glanced at Rosa, who was now watching him with curiosity, and Jim, who continued sharing his stories with a passion that made Nathan's heart ache. "How do you keep going?" Nathan finally asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Don't you get exhausted? I mean, look at your lives. I can't even manage my own family. And here you are, fighting battles day after day." Rosa's smile faltered for a brief second before it returned, bright and warm. Exhausted? Absolutely. But we do it for our kids, for each other. Life isn't always sunshine and rainbows, Mr. Montgomery. It's the tough times that forge us. Jim chimed in. You know, Nathan, it's never too late to make a change. You're not lost. You just need to find your way back to what really matters. The words gripped him like a lifeline tossed from a sinking ship. Suddenly, a flicker of conviction sparked inside him. He thought of his children, of Chloe's text, and the moments he had let slip away. What if you could help me? He blurted, surprising even himself. What if I could help you and Marcus? I think I may have an idea of where he fits into all of this. Both Rosa and Jim exchanged glances. Are you serious? Rosa asked, her voice rising slightly with hope. Yeah, Nathan nodded, excitement mingling with uncertainty. What if I could use my experience to help young people like him, to give them opportunities they otherwise wouldn't have? If I could set up an internship program or mentorship at the company, something that helps kids stay on a right path. The thought surged within him, filling the hollow spaces he'd been feeling. For the first time in years, Nathan felt a sense of direction that went beyond chasing wealth and recognition. I have connections, resources, he continued, increasingly animated. I can reach out to businesses, get them involved too. It's a risky venture, but I want to create something meaningful. Jim's eyes shone with pride, while Rosa beamed, her spirit clearly lifted. You have no idea how much that could change lives, Nathan. But are you ready to take that step? This means being vulnerable, confronting your mistakes. Yes, Nathan replied, looking them both in the eye. For the first time, I want to be part of a solution, not just an observer. But as excitement filled the room, the shadows in Nathan's heart weren't fully vanquished. A sense of dread tinged his enthusiasm with trying to help Marcus eventually blow up in his face. As he left the community center, Nathan's phone buzzed again, pulling him back to reality. It was another message from Chloe. Dad, are you coming home soon? Swallowing hard, he felt the push of two lives colliding, his former self and this new vision for change. Could he really step up and extend a hand, not only to the boy who stole from him, but into the lives of his own family, too? In the silence that followed, Nathan realized he was standing on the brink of something monumental. But the fear of failure loomed large. Would the leap into this new world of connection and responsibility help him reclaim what he had lost, or was it just another reckless plunge into uncertainty? The choice was his to make. Nathan stepped away from the community center, the evening air cool against his skin. The weight of his conversation lingered in his mind. He felt lighter yet burdened at the same time, a strange dichotomy he couldn't quite shake. The vibrant light of the setting sun cast long shadows, almost echoing the darkness he'd been grappling with for so long. As he navigated the streets back home, thoughts raced in his head. Helping Marcus could be a chance for redemption, not just for the boy, but for Nathan himself. He remembered the way Marcus had looked at him, the mix of desperation and determination. He understood that look all too well. It had danced in his own eyes when the pressure to succeed began choking him, pulling him into an abyss of solitude. His phone buzzed again, jolting him from his reverie. Chloe's message glowed on the screen. Dad, please hurry. We miss you. The pleading tone tugged at Nathan's heart. He had missed so much. But how could he head home, knowing the mess he'd made of things? What should he even say? He was terrified that the moment he walked through that door, all the old wounds would reopen. Each inconsequential moment from the past few years echoed back as missed opportunities. But he couldn't let fear rule him anymore. With each step, he made a silent promise to his children. He would do better. He had to find a way to reconnect with them while forging new paths for both Marcus and himself. It was time to share his weaknesses and showcase the work in progress that he was. When he finally opened his front door, the familiar sounds of home greeted him. The faint melody of Chloe's favorite music wove through the air, and he could smell dinner simmering on the stove. His heart softened at the natural warmth that radiated from the place he had taken for granted. Dad! Chloe's voice rang out, her face lighting up as she rushed toward him, all youthful energy. It was as if she had been waiting by the door, her eyes wide with hope. "Hey, kiddo," he said, kneeling to wrap her in a hug. "I'm sorry I'm late." She pulled back, her eyes searching his face. "Did you have fun? I thought maybe you could help me with my project later." Nathan hesitated. The project was due tomorrow, and he could feel the old impulse to push her aside for his own turmoil. But remembering the conversation with Rosa and Jim, he shook his head. "Yes, I'd love to help." "Really? You mean it?" Her smile broke through the tension that knotted his stomach. "Absolutely," he replied, realizing that the simple act of engaging with her made him feel more alive than he had in years. It was just a start, but in that moment, hope flickered like a candle in the dark. As they headed to the kitchen, Nathan spotted a stack of mail on the table. Old bills and reminders, but what caught his eye was another envelope, opened and addressed to him in messy handwriting. "Dad, can you read this when you have a minute?" It was written by Marcus, the boy he and T yet met again since the incident. The words on that page might hold the key to both Nathan's fears and the future he so desperately wished to reshape. "Of course," Nathan replied, heart pounding as he took the letter into his hands. What would it say? Could there be redemption waiting in those lines? As he turned back to his daughter, the promise of new beginnings flickered ahead. But dread gnawed at him too. What did Marcus want to say? He held the letter tightly, aware that the next moment could change everything once more. Could he really bridge the gap between his past mistakes and the hope he now clung to? Nathan glanced at Chloe, who was busy setting the table. He felt the weight of the letter in his hands. The parchment was thick, not the flimsy kind that screamed form letters. He could almost hear the beating of his own heart matching the rhythm of the music in the background. Time felt suspended as if the world outside had faded to a murmur. While Chloe's chatter filled the space, Nathan's mind moved in a different direction. He was torn. The sparkle of the evening around him contrasted sharply with the storm brewing inside. What was Marcus saying? Would Nathan even understand? And if he did, would he be ready for it? "Dad, could you pass the napkins?" Chloe's voice broke through his spiraling thoughts. He reached over, handed her the napkins, and scanned the room. The dining table, with its mismatched chairs and scrapes that told stories of hasty dinners and warm holiday gatherings, felt so alive. He could taste the aroma of their routine meal, but it was a routine he had been absent from for too long that he cleared his throat, forcing himself to focus. "You want to tell me about your project, sweetheart?" "Sure." She dove right in, excitement bubbling in her voice. She explained her school project, focusing on the importance of community, a topic Nathan was passionate about now, thanks to his time at the community center. As he listened, a smile crept onto his face. Her bright eyes mirrored hope, unknowingly pushing him toward his own. Yet, as Chloe's words wrapped around him like a warm blanket, he felt the letter grow heavier in his pocket. What would Marcus think of him? What if he was still angry, still hurt? Would it take even more for Nathan to mend the fractures in both of their lives? After dinner, Chloe said she needed to finish her poster. She darted off, leaving Nathan alone at the table. He pulled the letter out slowly, tracing the letters with his fingers. Each handwritten word felt intimate, like a secret shared between friends. He took a deep breath, ready to confront whatever Marcus had revealed. "Dear Mr. Johnson," it began, and Nathan's heart raced. He wasn't just a dad in this moment. He was a man desperate to understand. As he read further, his breath caught. Marcus spoke of feelings of betrayal and confusion. He shared how Nathan's absence felt like the death of a father he had never quite known. Yet amidst the pain, the boy had also expressed a desire to understand, to bridge that gap. As Nathan continued, a knot formed in his throat at the mention of the hurt they both felt. With trembling hands, Nathan placed the letter down and gazed around the room. He envisioned Marcus sitting right there at the table, the vacant chair holding the weight of unspoken words. Here was a chance to pull both of them from their darkness. Chloe returned with her art supplies scattered all over the floor. "Dad, can you help me with the colors?" She picked up a few markers and hesitated, picking a neon green. "I think this will look amazing." "Yeah, that's a great choice," he replied, his mind still racing. What could he say to Marcus that would open the door between them? How could he share his own mistakes without scaring the boy away? Chloe looked up, her expression suddenly serious. You've been looking at that letter for a long time. Is everything okay? He met her gaze, and in that instant, a flame ignited in him. No, but it will be. Chloe nodded, but he noticed a flicker of concern lingering in her eyes. As they worked together, a question rose unbidden. Would he have the courage to reach out to Marcus and mend that fragile bond? Could one letter reshape their lives? Nathan turned to the window, staring into the shadows that now blanketed the street. The night was a silence full of unknowns, just like the path ahead of him. And as he found the words to say to his daughter, he couldn't shake the thought. What if tomorrow held an unexpected call from Marcus, a call that could redefine everything? The morning light streamed through the kitchen window, casting warm rays on the breakfast table. Nathan rubbed his eyes and took a deep breath, recalling the events of last night. He and Chloe sat across from each other, devouring their cereals in a calm morning ritual filled with chatter. But the weight of that letter still loomed over him, a constant reminder of what needed to be addressed. Dad, can we go to the park today? I want to ride my bike. Chloe's voice pierced through his clouds of thought, pulling him back into the moment. Her enthusiasm was infectious, yet Nathan hesitated, glancing at the clock. Part of him just wanted to hide away and mull over his worries. He met her bright gaze. Yeah, we can do that, he replied, deciding it was time to focus on the present. As they finished their breakfast, Nathan found himself smiling at her youthful spirit. Chloe was an anchor, and he needed that grounding more than ever. They cleaned up together, washed the dishes, and laughed as Chloe splashed water onto him playfully. But as soon as the laughter died down, the reality of the letter gnawed at him again. It would be easy to postpone reaching out to Marcus, to convince himself that more time would heal the wounds. But deep down, Nathan understood that it wouldn't heal anything unless he acted. After breakfast, they suited up to head to the park. Chloe wore her helmet cocked slightly to the side, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she grabbed her bike. Nathan felt a rush of warmth at her joy, a hope that maybe they could create new memories together, memories that didn't carry the burden of shame or regret. Can we race? Chloe asked, her voice a mix of challenge and thrill. All right, but I'm just warning you. I might take it easy on you, he teased, though enthusiasm stirred within him as they raced down the winding paths. The wind tousled Chloe's hair, and she laughed freely. Nathan pushed himself to keep up, the feeling of the breeze against his face a welcome distraction. For a moment, he forgot about everything else, his worries, the letter, even the uncertainty of what was to come. However, as they coasted to a stop under the wide branches of an ancient oak tree, Nathan felt the heaviness return. Chloe leaned against her bike, her brow furrowed as she noticed his sudden shift in demeanor. Dad, what's wrong? She asked softly. Concern etched on her face, he sighed, searching for the right words. I just have something important I need to take care of, a conversation that needs to happen with someone you don't know yet. Is it about Mom? Chloe's voice held a hint of worry. No, it's about Marcus. Nathan's heart drummed in his chest. The name felt foreign on his tongue, a piece of his life he'd long avoided. Marcus? She repeated, confusion lining her features. The boy from your friend's group? Yeah, he is actually my son. Chloe's eyes widened, surprise washing over her. What? The words hung in the air, heavy and suspended like a whisper caught in wind. Nathan's heart raced. He was unearthing a truth he had buried for years, and he hadn't even begun to untangle its complexity. Chloe, I need to tell you everything, he said softly, the urgency in his voice amplifying the weight of the moment. Her face, a mix of surprise and curiosity, encouraged him to continue. As they stood there under the sprawling tree, Nathan knew he was on the brink of unveiling a truth that could change everything, not just for him, but for both of them. Would he have the courage to push through the vulnerability? Would revealing Marcus cause Chloe to feel torn? Nathan took a breath, ready to share a life he had kept hidden for too long, pondering how this unshared bond might reshape the way they saw each other. Yet in that silence, a sudden thought struck him. What if Marcus reached out, perhaps even today, throwing their carefully constructed world into chaos? The thought both thrilled and terrified him, and he braced himself for an uncertain future, a future he hoped would include healing and understanding. Just as he began to speak, a vibration pulsed through his phone in his pocket, and he paused, eyes narrowing on the screen. Could it be? He felt a surge of adrenaline. The moment was now. Would he be ready to face it? He pulled out his phone, his heart thumping like a drum. The screen lit up with a name that sent a jolt through him, Marcus. A rush of emotions flooded over him. Fear, excitement, and dread, all mixed into one. This wasn't just a phone call. It felt like destiny knocking at his door. Who is it? Chloe peeked over, her curiosity evident. It's Marcus, he whispered, his voice barely audible. Chloe's eyes widened again, disbelief etched across her features. You should answer. Nathan hesitated. This moment was bigger than either of them. He could feel it hanging in the air like the scent of summer rain approaching. But as he hovered over the answer button, doubt crept in. Would he screw everything up? Would Marcus reject him? What if he drew Chloe into this chaos? Dad? Chloe's small voice pulled him back. You're going to talk to him, right? Her innocent trust stirred something deep within him, an urge to protect her while also being honest. Yeah, I should. I owe it to him and to you. With that, he steeled himself and pressed the button. The phone rang as Nathan's heart raced, each beep amplifying the weight of years of silence. Chloe watched intently, her small hand gripping her bike, as if she understood the importance of this moment. Hello, a voice answered, a bit uncertain but undeniably familiar. Marcus, Nathan said, feeling the weight of the name tumble from his lips. He was still the same kid who played in his backyard, now a young man on the other end of the line. Hey, Mr. Billings? Marcus's voice cracked slightly. I wasn't sure if you'd, call me back. Yeah, I got your letter. Nathan's voice felt raw, as if he were ripping open a wound he thought had mostly healed. Chloe shifted, leaning closer, her eyes wide as if she could see the connection being forged. Silence lingered on the line, thick and heavy. Can we meet? Marcus finally asked. I just want to talk. Nathan swallowed hard as the reality of the request hit him. Meeting in person meant facing everything, the choices he'd made, the path his life had taken, and how it affected his son all these years. Deep down, Nathan wanted this. After clinging to secrets for so long, a part of him craved open dialogue. Sure, he heard himself say. Where do you want to meet? Maybe at the park? Marcus suggested. Since that's where we all seem to like being? Nathan's heart sank and soared at the same time, imagining how Chloe might meet her brother, her eyes filled with questions. He glanced at her. She was still watching, an eager anticipation mixed with confusion. Okay, the park works, Nathan answered, his voice steadier than he felt. What time? In about an hour? Marcus replied. Yeah, that sounds good, he managed to say, feeling the weight of commitment settling as he ended the call. Reality sank in. He was about to embrace a new chapter full of unknowns. Chloe's face was a canvas of mixed emotions, confusion, curiosity, and perhaps a dash of excitement. Are you okay, Dad? She asked, her innocence cutting through his turmoil. I will be, he smiled, but it felt shaky at best. Chloe, I want you to meet Marcus. He's your brother. Her eyes sparkled with disbelief and excitement, taking a moment to absorb his words. I have a brother. It seems so, he replied, his heart swelling with an emotion he couldn't quite name. Hope, perhaps. Can I meet him? She asked, her enthusiasm blooming like the flowers that lined the park's path. Yes, Nathan said, feeling the rush of unexpected joy. Are you ready? Chloe beamed. I was born ready. As they mounted their bikes again, Nathan felt a spark of hope. A new bond was forming, filled with potential and the promise of healing. But amidst his excitement, unease lingered. Could he navigate this unforeseen relationship? Would it bring the family closer, or introduce new fissures? As they pedaled toward the park, anticipation coiled tightly in Nathan's chest, the future unwinding before him like a long, winding road. When they arrived, the reality of the moment closed in. Everything was about to change. Would Marcus be the key to all their questions or a doorway to even more confusion? Nathan's heart raced as they approached the designated meeting spot. The scene set for an encounter that could alter their lives forever. As they entered the park, vibrant colors filled Nathan's vision: bright greens, playful yellows, and splashes of pink from blooming tulips. The laughter of children echoed around them, but all he could hear was the pounding of his heart. Chloe rode ahead a little, her small frame disappearing into the trees, her excitement palpable. "Wait up, Chloe," Nathan called, slowing his bike to a stop. He took a deep breath, tried to align his hopes with reality. Would this moment bring joy or heartbreak? "Dad," Chloe shouted back, her voice light and full of life. She didn't sense the weight of the world crushing down on him. In her eyes, this was an adventure, a chance to meet someone new. He smiled, even his worry twisted in his gut. He hadn't seen Marcus in over a decade. How much had he changed? Would they be able to connect after all this time? Nathan mounted his bike again and caught up with Chloe, who was peering curiously at the park's entrance. They arrived at the meeting spot, a big oak tree with sprawling branches that provided shelter. It felt symbolic, a place of growth, of shelter, and of potential memories yet to come. "We can sit here and wait," Chloe said, her tiny hands brushing against the rough bark of the tree. "Yeah, sounds good," Nathan responded, not quite ready to plunge into the whirlpool of emotions that awaited him. As they settled down on the grass, Chloe picked at the blades, her gaze shifting between her dad and the path leading to the park entrance. "Do you think he'll be nice?" "I hope so," Nathan replied, feeling the need to protect her. "He has family. That counts for something, right?" "Right," Chloe said with an infectious grin that sparked a flicker of hope in Nathan. It was true. Family ties often held a strength that could weather storms. Suddenly, Nathan spotted a figure emerging from the shadows at the edge of the park. Marcus. His heart quickened as he recognized the boy who once chased fireflies in their backyard, the same raven hair, though now tousled with age and uncertainty. "Chloe," Nathan said softly, nudging her. "Looks like he's here." Chloe turned, her eyes lighting up again. She stood, her excitement bubbling over, and waved. "Hi, Marcus." Marcus looked surprised to see a small girl shouting his name, but then a smile broke across his face, a hesitant, shy smile. Nathan rose to his feet, feeling the world shift under him as he stepped forward. "Hey, Marcus," he said, trying to steady his voice, though it trembled slightly. "It's good to see you." "Mr. Billings, Nathan," Marcus responded, his voice uncertain but warmed by familiarity. "Wow, it's been a long time." The three stood in an awkward silence for a moment, feeling the tension interlace with hope. Nathan glanced at Chloe, who was practically bouncing on her toes, full of energy and innocence. This is my daughter, Chloe," Nathan introduced, motioning toward her. "Nice to meet you," Chloe chirped, offering her hand as if they were meeting for a business deal. Marcus laughed, the tension breaking a little. "Nice to meet you too, Chloe." Nathan felt a shift in the air. This was the moment. Would they find common ground? Could they forge a relationship despite the years lost? "So, how have you been?" Marcus asked, a slight blush coloring his cheeks. "Good, I think," Nathan replied, forced to keep things light. Just trying to make things work." "Yeah, I can only imagine." Marcus's gaze dropped to the ground, digging deeper into the awkwardness of the moment. "Dad," Chloe interrupted, her voice bright with enthusiasm. "Can we sit and chat? I want to know everything." Nathan couldn't help but chuckle. Chloe's innocence was a balm for the nerves rippling through him. "Of course, Chloe." As they settled onto the grass together, something inside Nathan began to shift. Maybe this meeting could open doors he thought had long been shut. But before they could dive deeper into conversation, a loud horn blared from the nearby playground, capturing everyone's attention. And in that moment of distraction, Nathan felt a shadow pass over his heart again. What if the Conversation took a turn he wasn't ready for. Marcus looked at him, uncertainty written all over his face. Can we really talk about everything? Nathan nodded, but as he glanced at Chloe, a new fear settled in. Would this conversation heal wounds or create new ones? With everything hanging in the balance, the question lingered, was this the beginning of understanding or the unraveling of everything he thought he knew? And as they sat together, he could only wonder what truly defined family. Marcus shifted his weight from one foot to the other, his gaze drifting toward Chloe, who was now picking daisies from the grass, blissfully unaware of the swirling emotions between the adults. It was as if time had collapsed into this small circle beneath the oak tree. What felt like minutes stretched into an eternity as Nathan wrestled with the gravity of their meeting. So Nathan began, not wanting to dive head first into the past, but unsure how to tread lightly around it. What have you been up to all these years? Marcus took a deep breath, his eyes flicking back to Nathan. Just life, I guess. He hesitated, as if the words were stuck somewhere deep inside him. I graduated high school, went to college for a bit, but then, well, I took some time off. Nathan nodded, reading between the lines. It was a familiar story, one full of uncertainty. Sounds like you've been on quite the journey. I'd love to know more about it. Chloe, now back in the conversation, beamed up at Marcus. Are you in college like my dad? He is super smart, you know? A flush crept up Marcus's cheeks. I'm trying to figure that part out. Math was never my best subject. Nathan chuckled lightly, filling the air with a shared laughter that felt like a bridge building over their past. Same here. My brain and numbers just don't get along. But the laughter faded as the shadows of the past crept back in. Marcus's expression turned serious, the playfulness of earlier evaporating. Do you think there's a way to, I don't know, move past what happened? The question hung heavy, and Nathan felt the weight of it settle over him. Memories of arguments and family fractures played out like a film reel in his mind. I hope so. I really do, he replied slowly. I've thought about those past years a lot. Marcus nodded, his eyes searching Nathan's face for something, a sign of understanding, perhaps. Nathan was struck by how much Marcus resembled the boy he once knew, yet how distinctively different he seemed, too. What was it like for you? Marcus asked, finally allowing the vulnerability to seep into his voice. The years without us being connected? Nathan exhaled sharply, the breath steeped in nostalgia. It was tough, he admitted. Your absence left a hole. I just didn't realize how deep it was until I had someone new to care for. His gaze shifted to Chloe, who was focused now on weaving a crown of flowers. Watching her innocent joy anchored him in the moment. She reminds me of the good parts: family, laughter, connection. Yeah, I get that, Marcus said, rubbing the back of his neck like he was trying to ease tension. I missed those times, too, even though it was complicated. Chloe, overhearing the conversation, looked up with wide eyes. Can I come to see you again, Marcus? I want to know more about everything. It was a simple request, but it hit Nathan like a freight train. Would they let Chloe be the bridge between two fragmented lives? Or would fear tear the fragile threads before they'd even begun to strengthen? Of course, Chloe, Nathan said, biting back the lump in his throat. I'm sure Marcus would love that. Marcus managed to smile, though his brow was furrowed with uncertainty. Yeah, I do like that too. Just as the conversation began to gain warmth, a sudden shout echoed from the playground. Chloe's eyes darted over, excitement bubbling again. Let us play tag after this. Come on, Marcus. You can be it. Her enthusiasm broke the tension. Marcus laughed, and for a moment, the past seemed to drift away, leaving room for something hopeful to grow. All right then, he said, his spirit lifting. Let us see if I can catch you too. As they laughed together, Nathan felt a thawing in his heart, but a small part of him still trembled at the unknown. Could Chloe's innocent charm truly bridge the gap of years and pain? There was still so much unsaid and unresolved hanging in the air. Nathan could sense a deeper conversation lurking just beyond their easy laughter. As the sun dipped low in the sky, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Just what would the next chapter of their lives look like? Would healing come from these newfound connections, or would the weight of the past continue to linger? The questions buzzed in his mind like the laughter of children, leaving him eager yet apprehensive about what would unfold next in their journey. Chloe's laughter rang out like a melody, pulling Nathan from his spiraling thoughts. As she dashed off, her small feet pounding against the grass, the world around him blended into a scene of color and light. Marcus watched her with a mixture of admiration and nostalgia, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "She has something else, huh?" Nathan said, locking eyes with Marcus. A sense of relief washed over him, feeling as if they'd taken a step forward, even if only a baby one. "Yeah, she's got spirit," Marcus replied, a glimmer of warmth breaking through his cautious demeanor. "It's kind of amazing to see." A wave of silence followed, stretching between them, but no longer heavy. It felt as if they were slowly inching toward a bridge, where rusted memories could be repaired with the kindling of their current connection. "Do you ever think about how different things could have been?" Nathan asked, keeping his voice soft. "If we had managed things differently, maybe we wouldn't be standing here like this." Marcus's brow furrowed, but then he nodded slowly. "All the time. I hate that it ended the way it did, but I'm learning maybe we can find a way to start over." The words hung in the air, delicate and precarious, like spider silk glistening in the light. Nathan felt a knot in his stomach, both excited and fearful. He scanned Marcus's face for answers. Was this a moment of realization, or merely a momentary spark of hope? "I want that," he confessed. "I just don't know how tall the walls between us really are." Marcus turned serious again, the weight of their shared past creeping back in. "It's tough, Nathan, knowing the years we lost, years that we could have been figuring this out together." He paused, swallowing hard. "But maybe we don't need to pinpoint the blame. Maybe we just take the next steps as they come." Their eyes met, and for a split second, the past didn't consume them. Instead, it sparked the possibility of renewal. Nathan reached out, placing a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "I'd like a try. For Chloe." "Yeah, for Chloe," Marcus echoed. Just then, a shout punctured their moment of intimacy. "Come on, you guys. You're so slow," Chloe called, spinning around in a wild dance of energy. She threw her arms out wide, as if inviting them into her world of carefree play. The two men chuckled at her antics. "Guess we better get moving," Nathan smiled. As they joined in on the game of tag, the air filled with joy. Chloe's laughter was infectious, and soon the concerns of adulthood started to fade away. Both men found themselves laughing, running, and playfully dodging tiny hands that reached out to tag them. In this moment, it felt like the years lost were smaller than the laughter shared. Yet, the shadows loomed at the edges of the park, a reminder that everything wasn't resolved. With each playful catch and dodge, Nathan's heart fluttered with hope, but also uncertainty. After a whirlwind of laughter, they flopped down on the grass to catch their breath. Chloe lay sprawled out beside them, her cheeks flushed and hair wild. She turned to Marcus, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Can we do this all the time? I want to have playdates here every week." Nathan exchanged a glance with Marcus, the joy in Chloe's eyes mixing with the surge of nostalgia they both felt. They each had a choice to make. The question lingered, could they really embrace a new rhythm of life? Or would the reality of their past threaten to unravel it all? In that moment, Nathan sensed that something bigger than just fun was at play. The next chapters of their lives hung in the balance, precariously poised for decision. "Let us start with next week," Marcus said, his voice low but resolute. "We can figure out a plan. Just us three." Nathan nodded, feeling a cautious but present hope blooming. "Sounds good. I like that idea a lot." But even as he agreed, a doubt flickered within him. Could rekindling their bond really create a new story, or would remnants of the past have a way of creeping back in like an unwelcome shadow? As Chloe's laughter continued to fill the air, the sun began its descent on the horizon, casting a golden glow. The path ahead was still unclear, filled with potential and uncertainty. Nathan felt both nervous and eager as they began to brainstorm meeting ideas. The stakes seemed higher now than ever. Just then, A sudden chill swept across the park, causing Nathan to shiver. He couldn't shake the feeling that the new connections they were forging might face challenges they weren't ready for yet. Would they falter, or would they all rally together through whatever came next? As the last rays of sun dipped beneath the horizon, Nathan felt a stir within him that he hadn't experienced in years' hope. The laughter echoed around them, transforming their fragile moments into something vibrant and full of promise. Chloe rolled in the grass, her carefree joy infectious, and for the first time, Nathan felt the weight of regret lift just a touch. "Can we really keep doing this?" Chloe asked, looking up at both men with wide eyes, a question so simple yet so profound. "We can, Chloe," Marcus said, his voice steady, his smile brightening the encroaching darkness. "And we will. It's just the start, I promise. I missed out, but this can be our new beginning." Nathan nodded, feeling the warmth spread in his chest. It was time to rebuild, not just with Marcus, but with his daughter as well. Let us make every effort. No more waiting for the perfect moment, because that moment is now. Chloe's excited squeal sliced through the evening air. Yay! Playdates every week. As they sat together, a silence wrapped around them, warm and inviting. The connection felt tangible, as real as the grass under their fingers and the breeze that tousled Marcus's hair. Nathan could see a path forming full of growth and healing. "Can I ask you something?" Nathan turned to Marcus, his heart pounding with the sincerity of his next words. "Are you ready to share your story? What was like growing up without knowing me?" Marcus drew in a breath, his gaze narrowing thoughtfully as if weighing his own feelings against the past. "I've thought about it a lot, Nathan. Growing up, it always felt like something was missing. I felt anger. I felt lost. I know I wasn't the best kid at times." Still, he glanced at Chloe, then back at Nathan. "I didn't know you, but I kept hoping one day things would be different. I wish I could have filled that void." Nathan swallowed hard, the bittersweet weight of Marcus's honesty settling in his heart. "I know how that feels. I didn't know how to be the man you needed, or the father." The words were heavy, but liberating. No more hiding, no more running from truths. "I want us to change that," Marcus replied, his voice filled with resolve. "I want us to confront the past together. Not just for us, but for Chloe too." At that moment, Nathan realized this wasn't just about understanding Marcus. It was about crafting a new future as a blended family. Their conversations could become the foundation for a truly transformative bond. Chloe, oblivious to the gravity of their discussion, jumped to her feet. "Come on, you two. Let us see who can tag me first." With an infectious laugh, she bolted towards the playground, a force of nature driven by pure joy. Not even hesitating, Marcus joined her, laughter spilling out like sunlight breaking through clouds. Nathan stood for a moment, watching them bond effortlessly. The feeling of gratitude washed over him. It was happening. As the sky twinkled to life with stars, Nathan took a breath. This wasn't just a reunion. This was the beginning of something beautiful, an opportunity to learn, grow, and heal together. "Ready to join them?" Nathan whispered to himself before chasing after them. He felt lighter, freer, and perhaps most importantly, more connected than ever. Laughter echoed, and in those precious moments of play, Nathan knew they were weaving the fabric of a new future. One where hope triumphed over pain, family rose above distance, and love bridged the gaps left by time. As they tumbled into a pile of giggles, weaving their stories closer together, Nathan whispered a silent promise to the universe. "I will do this." For them. He felt the warmth of that promise radiate through him, a beacon guiding him toward a brighter tomorrow. And in that moment, as the three of them created their own little family unit under the blanket of stars, Nathan felt whole for the first time in a long while. This was just the beginning. Now is your turn to make a difference. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. True fans like you help create communities that bring these stories to life.